everyone. We are going to try painting with markers. You're going to need a piece of paper and some markers, and we'll talk about a few other things later on in the video. You're going to notice that I'm going to make my painting palette, which I'm going to do a basic shape, a square, and I'm going to fill it in with the colors of my choice. I'm going to do the basic colors, blue, red, yellow. So pretty much your primary and secondary. You don't have to put paint with markers at top. You just want to be able to have a variety of colors to try out this technique. I'm speeding up the video just a bit, so if you need to pause it, please pause it. And again, your piece of paper, if you're going to try this, try to get a paper that's a little bit thicker than computer paper. If you only have computer paper or notebook paper, that's okay. We'll just have to be very careful with the water that we're using. So I grabbed some Q-tips and some paintbrushes, and that's because not everyone may have a paintbrush. So this is where you can get creative and get a Q-tip, or I mean, maybe even your finger. I haven't even tried that yet. And I have a little bit of water, a paper towel, just to dab my brush, any of my materials that I'm going to use to paint with. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to try with a brush first. You probably can't see, but there's different types of brushes, and we'll talk about that in class. I'm just going to put a little bit of water, and I'm going to see what happens when I put water over the blue square that I made. Again, you don't want a lot. Test it out, see what happens. And already, this is exciting. I'm able to paint with the marker color. Blue works really well because it's dark. You're going to notice with some of the other colors on my marker palette, they're not as dark as the blue. But again, we are just testing out how this works. And I'm lightly drawing my brush in between, and I'm just doing different shapes and symbols. And I encourage you can test this out with any shape symbols, or maybe you have a different idea. But if you're going to try this, I want you to try to make your marker palette and test this out before we think about making a whole artwork with painting and painting using markers. See, the yellow one was really hard. It didn't show up as well. The orange is doing fairly decent. And I think the next one, I'm actually going to try the Q-tip. Again, this is sped up, so if you need to pause the video, please pause, friends. I'm just trying to show you what I have been testing out. And the Q-tip, it does work. It just shows it a little bit lighter. And that's okay. And I think it really depends on the color too. And you're going to notice once I try the black doesn't come out when I paint with it as black. It's almost like a gray or a bluish even. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going to put water down first just to try out this technique. So I'm going to apply the marker on top of the water, and look what happens. Isn't that cool? Again, you don't want it too much, but this is your opportunity to test out different techniques. Okay? I am doing different shades of blue, and I'm kind of going to have fun with it. I'm going to make a little cloud. It's really up to you what you want to draw or mark making. Again, we are not making anything specific, like we're not trying to make an actual painting or drawing. Right now, we are trying what happens when we use markers to paint with. And this is really helpful for anyone who may not have paint, but you want to try to paint. If you have some markers, maybe even some Sharpies, I don't know if this would work for a highlighter, but I say try it and see what happens. And I hope you all have fun testing this out.